So hi, I'm back again. Now, I don't know when it was, a year and a half, 2 years ago, I started poking around with web tech. And like so many people who probably thought that web browsers and web technology, HTML, this, that, blah, 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 it's a bunch of junk, and it's just for doing websites and so forth. Well, I wanted to find out. So what I did is I started reading. Now, for me, I'm a bit of a nut. I went and bought almost every book I could find, and then I dove deep, and I read the histories, and I got all the technical information, and I really went for it. And I did all this in my spare time. So I'd go home at night. Most people go home and, I don't know, watch the game. I'm studying web technology, and I'm thinking, what's it all about? So I was just extraordinarily surprised by what I found. I found that HTML5 provides so much power in the way it is integrated into the browser with the canvas and all of the tools and all of the tech, like the libraries that are provided now at that level. I started making this platform. Okay, it's what I started calling the infinite desktop, because I wanted this infinite space. Now, if you played Supreme Commander, I love the zoom in and zoom out. That was just, to me, that was just magical, that I could go anywhere I wanted. I could truly be a Supreme Commander. Well, I wanted the same thing on the computer. I wanted the same thing for apps. So I thought this would be a great place to make a game, have a social, have a chat where I could have a social network. I could watch movies at the same time. I've got I could be playing 3 different games with my friends. So what we did is we started to get a little more serious about it last year. And Nick, who I'm going to introduce you to here, started to build applications and go deep. What's really exciting about this is that we've not only got 2D capability on the Infinite Desktop, we have got 3D through WebGL. And these things are all tied together. Now, I'm going to show you this. Actually, Nick's going to walk you through the whole thing. So let's just go over there and take a look. But hey, Nick.
Oh.
I have to shake your hand. It's just one of those things that we do. All right, so Nick has been working on the mod tools. We're going to basically show you that. But I want to walk through what we've got here. This is the Infinite Desktop, or what we call Project Mercury. When it first has nothing on it. So Nick, do you want to go create the launcher here? He just simply gestures, and he opens up the launcher. Now zoom all the way out. You'll notice that he can zoom all the way out, and he's got this desktop. It's just this tiny, tiny little thing. This is a vast, vast space. And now go back in, and he's going to zoom in, and he could spawn out an app. Like let's go ahead and spawn like Solitaire. We made some demo apps. I'm going to show you these first. Now Solitaire here, as you can see, is just a straight up Solitaire game, but it shows you that you've got a game, and it's animating, and it's doing all this stuff in real time. And this was like our old test app. And we've got a whole bunch of these. But what's really fascinating about this is, of course, this is all persisted on the server. So if Nick was to play a card and then go home and log in there, his card would be in the exact place. In other words, it's all 100% persistent. Say that 50 times, and he never has to hit the save button. Nick, I want you to walk us through how we think this will support an incredibly productive mod effort, because the tools are not, they don't have to be installed, they don't have to be patched, debugged on all the different hardware. This will run on Windows, it'll run on Mac, it'll run on Linux. It just makes all of that go away. So why don't you just go ahead and start walking us through, and I'll talk and help embellish on what you're doing as well. Okay, so we get a nice little spotted desktop.
Okay. It's like the master control program in Tron.
Right, right, okay.
And so it kind of manages all the data and stuff. And what it does is we communicate with other apps that do more specific functions, like this, for instance.
So you just went and made a full screen by double-clicking on it, right there, which is totally fine. So I've got an app that now.
So this is the renderer. It doesn't have anything because it doesn't have any information.
Now you just connected the two of them with something that it's a tether, but we call it synergy when you connect one app to the other. This is going to become really important. So go ahead now and keep going.
All right, and so I just have a bunch of apps that that talk to the master control program and basically send commands over, and it figures out what to do with it.
We're using a different development philosophy and breaking all of the elements of all the components that are needed. We break them into their own apps. Now, if you've ever worked on a project with a bunch of other engineers, you know that if you're all trying to compile on the same code base, one guy breaks it, goes home, everybody's screwed. They got to go roll back in, perforce, figure out what was done wrong. This insulates all of those woes. And this development suite allows folks to work on different parts of it at different times, and then instead of rolling back inside of the source tree, you can just roll back the whole app version, which is just a paradigm shift, which I love this. And in fact, I ranted and raved for a month about just this alone. Now what Nick's doing is he's constructing all the relationships, okay? And in the middle here, like he's got the MCP, and one of these has actually got a WebGL. Did I say WebGL before? Is WebGL. So he's going to actually show you a 3D render of the terrain inside a 2D web browser surface. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'll start by making a new map. I have this app over here that basically has the lists of all the objects that we have registered that we can choose from. So I'll start with just a basic flat ground tile. And so all my settings are default for now. So now I have this 2D renders, and the MCP kind of sucks it in, so that you don't always have to scroll over here and look at it. So here I'll turn the grid on, and I'll draw the door numbers.
So door numbers. This is how our whole node system works.
Yep. So now we just have our starting tile with this, empty grid space, and it's kind of lonely. So I'll select a node, and now I have a highlight of what my placement will look like as I hover over the doors. And so I can place it down, and you'll see I have node placements. And then over in our 3D preview window here, we have our map in WebGL. It's all rendering all in 3D. It's kind of boring, yeah, it's flat, so we want some flavor. So, add a couple of these, and these, a bit more interesting to look at.
That's awesome. Okay, just for fun, can you zoom all the way up to show how small this is on the desktop? Okay, so check that out. That's all happening right there. You could basically have multiple projects going on. One that you're working on with with a friend over here, and then someone else over here, so that you can just spatially leave these out. This is like having a warehouse that's infinitely big to build every project that you have, and you never have to put anything away and manage space. It's all just always there. Now, if Nick goes home, he can log in and then get access to this, so he doesn't have to VPN or do any of this stuff. So you can imagine how powerful it is. Now Nick, you're on a double monitor system here. Could you stretch that across just to show that web tech is really amazing. So even if you have a dual monitor, I mean not even if you do, but if you have a dual monitor system, you really got your whole workspace here. So Nick doesn't have to be crowded. He can just grab that 3D preview, stick it over there, blow it up to full size. So he's gonna, he's probably like, I've never done this before. Let me try this. And now suddenly he's got this giant 3D preview on the other end. And go ahead then and go ahead and edit and do stuff here. And you start to really see the power of this set of tools. And this is the Wildman tools. Now, some of you out there are probably thinking, well, obviously it's not just for Wildman. You could do any game like this. So for this Kickstarter, what I would love to see us do is really take things up a notch and say, look, if you get in, you can have access to this set of tools, and you can build not only tools to support the Wildman mod community, but any mod for any game, okay? Which I think is really the future. This is not something that we can take too much credit for. This is the power of HTML5. Okay, I could. There's an old Kings and Castles video blog here. So Nick's just going to take it. He's going to pick one at random. Hopefully not the one with the chickens, and then dock it on the edge of the screen. So it's the one with the chickens. Good choice. That's the chicken coop, and there's me. So now, if he scrolls this around, that movie is staying right where he put it. It can be any size. He could have 5 movies playing at one time. He could be talking and chatting with a friend. He could be playing a game of solitaire. He could be doing making notes for that he wants to discuss. I mean, the power of this platform is truly amazing, and we think that Wildman is the right place to take this thing out and put it on the track, so to speak. Okay, because this has been in development here. Primarily, I wrote most of the foundation code at home in bed. I know where all great things happen, and Nick has been working for this past year. Is going to be graduating from DigiPen in a couple months. So he's a student, and he's been able to dive right in. And Bruce, who's off camera here, Bruce, come on camera. Bruce is also a Mercury guru and has been making all kinds of apps and is responsible for a lot of what's going on inside the platform, a lot of the caching systems, and gosh, I don't know, the list goes on and on. Did I embarrass you there?
A little bit, yeah, caught me off guard.
Okay, good, yeah. You guys are going to have a lot of questions on this, and I am going to be thrilled to answer your questions. Fire away, and we're going to gather them up just like I did with the other video, and we're just going to go through them. And I've been a big fan of mod tools from the beginning. You're going to love this. But here's the reason why this is so important, is because mod tools are expensive to make. Generally speaking, you have to treat it like a product unto itself. You have to put it through testing. It has to run on all these different computers, service packs, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's really hard. Now, he just crashed. Now, wait a second. Nope, this is okay. Can you see this in the shot? Could you hit Control-R, please? And other than hiding his dev environment that got in the foreground, because he's got a thing, he's back. Okay, and his preview, why is your preview working? What's going on here?
That's a good question.
That's a good question. Well, maybe he's got a bug there, but did you see that? His entire environment came back up. My movie's not playing though. I don't know what's going on there. Something gimped up on the movie. But the idea though is that he crashes and then he's right back up with a Control-R. Now let me ask you this, the last time your dev environment crashed, how long did it take for you to get it back up? I know, awkward question, isn't it? Usually it's Control-R for Project Mercury, the Infinite Desktop, aka Carl, also known as Alpha 7. Okay, there's a group of people in South Dakota who also like to call it by a different name. I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm going to let you guys fire off with your questions, and then we'll be back again. All right, thank you.